One of the most beautiful endings I've seen. And why Joel's decision was wrong, and he should have sacrificed Ellie to save the world. Full review episode 9 of The Last of Us. Complete the video to the end to see why Joel's decision was wrong. Episode 9 of The Last of Us, Look for the Light, revisits one of the most shocking video game endings ever, exposing a whole new audience to Joel's big decision. And aside from being an extremely faithful adaptation of the final scenes of the game, this episode also adds a whole new wrinkle to the mythos, an explanation of how Ellie became immune to the cordyceps infection in the first place. We're gonna break all that down along with little details and secrets we spotted along the way. But first, we're going to spoil this entire season. We're going to talk about spoilers. Warning. This sound was made by AI because there is not enough money for the voice commentator, but if the channel reaches 1,000 subscribers, there will be a voice commentator, so please subscribe to the channel. The episode title was Look for the Light. It's a reference to the Fireflies, motto that you saw drawn on all the buildings, especially at the beginning of the series. It's meant to complete John Ellis' arc from the first episode, because the title of episode 1 was the first part of the Fireflies motto, when you're lost in the darkness. So episode 1, episode 9 is when you're lost in the darkness. Look for the light. Only this time the episode is mostly about Joel versus the Fireflies RIP. To all those Fireflies, he didn't kill every single Firefly, he just killed a lot of important ones. The actual opening scene is a big change from the games, but it fills in a lot of backstory and things that people had suspected from the games for a long time. So the episode begins with the mother giving her life to save Ellie, and it ends with a father taking life to save Ellie. In a lot of ways, The Last of Us is a pretty simple show. It's about Joel overcoming his own personal trauma. Ellie becomes a symbol of all the good in the world. So for Joel, the world without her is not worth living in. This is because Ellie allowed Joel to finally regain his humanity by overcoming his trauma, anxiety, and panic attacks, and this makes Joel such a relatable hero. And for your information, I am not with Joel, and I will tell you why shortly. After Anna gives birth, one of the first words that Ellie ever hears is the bad word that really explains her potty mouth right.
Is that?
Yeah.
I'm Sally f***ing right.
Carol. Carol.
Who broke her f***ing finger?
Then Marlene shows up to the house, and she's played by Merle Dandridge, the only actor in the show who's playing the same character that she played in the game. Marlene finds her best friend and her new daughter, and it's hard to not find a parallel here with other Chosen One babies. Moses was discovered floating in a basket, so this is an ancient storytelling trope of babies with a special purpose, being left alone and vulnerable, and then being taken in. This is all building up to the idea that Ellie exists for a reason. As for Joel's decision, why do I think it's wrong? For me, when you can save humanity by sacrificing someone, even if it's dear to you, it's subject we cannot decision. You can save millions of people just by sacrificing one person. And as Marlene told Joel that if Ellie knew, she would have sacrificed herself to save humanity. But Joel listened to the voice of his heart, and he killed Marlene and all the Fireflies. And I think in the coming seasons we will see the impact of this decision on the relationship of Joel and Ellie. You as a viewer, if you were in Joel's place, what would you choose to save, Ellie or humanity? Tell me in the comments. It's of Ellie's mother, Anna, in a flashback played by Ashley Johnson. Big video game cameo scene after Troy. Baker's cameos in an episode 8. AC Johnson is the voice of Ellie in the video games. If she sounded familiar, if you haven't seen her on screen before.
What this is about? Oh, why are these all stuck together?
She does a lot of live action acting roles. 2 in different series. She's running through the woods from a runner infected, and she's having contractions about to give birth to Ellie. Given Ellie's age during the present day, the series, this scene would be happening about 14 years ago, around the year 2009 on the show. Just because the TV show moved the timeline of the games back about 10 years, so the present day of the series is 2023. Just like it is in real life, The games pick up in the year 2033 before the Fungus in 2003. Ellie's mother had been a nurse at a hospital at some point. She became friends with Marlene. She said that they've been friends their whole lives before the Fungus hit. Then the Fungus happens, Federer takes over, and it seems like they've formed a version of the Fireflies. It seemed like Anna was part of the Fireflies. They're a group already when she got pregnant with Ellie. Then about 9 months before this scene, she got pregnant, and you see the events play out on screen of her birth. So this whole flashback to Ellie's birth wasn't in the games, it's another example, the show. Adding a bunch of scenes for context in the games, you never actually see her mother. You only see the letter that she wrote to Ellie to be given to her when she was old enough to read it. And she had made Marlene to promise to take care of Ellie after she died because she only lived for about a day after Ellie was born, the way that you see it. Play out in the episode you notice when she runs into the room upstairs to try and hide from the infected while she's in the process of giving birth. She sits under the tree. It's meant to be a metaphor for Ellie, like she's giving birth to the future of humanity, like this green growing tree. Basically, the speech is another version of the needs of the many versus the needs of the few in. The idea is that Marlene is meant to be right. The Ellie would want to sacrifice herself if it meant saving the human race, which is what Joel doesn't want, which is why Joel continually lies to her about what was going on. Because he knows that Ellie would want to sacrifice herself. He's just not willing to let her die. I really like the ending of the episode too, with the way they edited things, jumping back and forth between him and present day, driving away with Ellie, and then cutting back to the scene of what happened while they were in the parking garage where he was killing Marlene. If you like, the way they did that. That's also exactly the way the end to the ending in the games where you're hearing his lies to Ellie, where he's telling her what happened while they flash back to show you the truth of what actually did happen when he killed Marlene.
Turns out there's a whole lot more like you. People that are immune. They've stopped looking for a cure.
Turns out there's a whole lot more like you, Ellie. People that are immune. There's dozens, actually. They've stopped looking for a cure.
The whole idea is that he tells her the lie. The Fireflies don't actually need her because they found tons of other people who are immune like her. And on top of that, the doctors decided that the treatment wouldn't work. So they stopped looking for a cure so that she wouldn't want to just turn around and go back and find other Fireflies. He's trying to get her to completely forget about the mission or the idea that she could potentially be a cure when in fact that's not true. There might be other people who are immune within the world of The Last of Us, but when this first game is happening, the game implies that she's the only one, at least in the United States or North America, that they found.